everyone! So, for the 12 Days of Anime, the last thing I expected to do as a video is a Cher's rant. And to be fair, I have not done a Cher's rant in a while. But at least when I do these kinds of rant videos, they're for things that I really care about. And this is not just a throwaway thing. Or I'm not using YouTube as a platform to vent my frustration always. For the case of this, because I had been speaking to other YouTubers about, or at least YouTube commenters about this thing, I wanted to get something straight. I wanted to put something on the table, and you can take it as you will. So, it kind of started almost the very day when Love Live All-Stars Festival came out. I wouldn't say Japan exactly. I think it's when it came out internationally a year and a half ago. You know how, okay, so for those of you who play the game, you know how it works, right? So, your purpose in the All-Stars Festival game is to win points or earn the most points you can by playing like any of Muse's, Aqua's, or Nijigasaki's songs. So you pick a song that you want and you pick a difficulty that you want, but then you can also pick which girls that you want on your 9-member team that could either get you the most points or something along those lines. I know there's also an option for each of the songs where you don't have to play the game itself, but if you just want to do a video of how interesting it would be to mix the girls up for a certain song, like for example, if you want to do like Muse's Snow Halation, but you want to do it with just the first years from each of the groups, then with the video viewing option, you can change up the girls however you want, and you can do that. And there's a ton of people who post those example videos on YouTube with different combinations of the girls, whether it's requested by fans or they want to do their own thing. Like, there's a whole YouTube community that does this, and they have been doing it since the game's initial release in Japan. And I think that's really cool. I think it's very artistic, and you're allowed to view any of the songs that you want in a certain way. For Nijigasaki, though, it was a very unique thing because at the time of the game's release, there was only one group song, and that was Excited Runners. So you couldn't really do much with it. I mean, you could probably do anything that you want with it, but there wasn't really much option, because then the rest of the songs were all the debut solo singles from each of the Nijigasaki girls. And the song that got the most attention, of course, was Karen's Starlight. Because once they released that song to the public, or Love Live released the initial music video from the game for the song, they noticed something very specific about it. Yeah, they decided to give, at least, I'll give Japan some credit. At least they gave the most adult third year of the girls the sexy song, because if I remember correctly, the age of consent in Japan is much lower than it is in most Western countries. As most of us know, the age of consent in America and a few other places is 18 years old. So, and even as a 26-year-old now, when I view 18-year-olds, even though they are of age, not to drink of course, but to do most things, I still view them as babies. Like, oh, you just went into the adult world. Oh, you're so cute. But even so, 18 years old, basically, they are viewed as an adult for most things. At least this is how I grew up. I'm okay with it. I still feel uncomfortable that because the age is older in Japan, it feels like Japan can do anything with stuff. It makes me feel grossed out because I don't view a 15-year-old as a person who can work a 9-to-5 job. I mean, because even though they're considered of adult age, they're still going through high school. If you're still going through high school, you're still a kid in my eyes. That's how I see things. But if I'm going to give Japan any benefit of the doubt, at least with Karen, I could give it a pass. I may not have to like it, but Starlight is not a bad song. The choreography is not as terrible as other stuff could be, but it started getting worse when people started doing the music videos for each of the girls doing the solo songs. And for one character in particular, people just decided to go all hog with it. And that unfortunately, if you watched one of my videos a couple days ago, that unfortunately is my favorite Aqua's girl of all time. Now, I believe I stated in that certain video in particular that one of my favorite things about Ruby is that, yes, she's cute in her shyness, but as she, her character arc develops in the anime, she becomes more independent of herself, and she starts discovering, like, what her solo self can be because her older sister's about to graduate high school, and once she goes to university, Ruby has to start fending for herself. That's what I liked about her. But of course in the game, they still keep her innocent cuteness because that's her thing, and of course the game's not exactly canon, so any independentness that she might have, it's still there, but most of it kind of got tossed out the window. But again, it's a game. I'm not upset. Like, I'm not gonna get upset at any character butchering. Except the time when I got mad about the Longshu arc. That was the only time that I got mad, but about the Muse and Aqua's girls, I really don't care. The only thing I did care about is that, look, posting videos of other Love Live characters performing Starlight for informational purposes, for what people want to view, who are not playing the game or something, they want to watch videos on YouTube, that's one thing. But making these videos of Ruby performing Starlight, but trying to do it in Ruby's most skimpy outfits is an entirely different issue. Like, I don't think I see much of these anymore, but there was a time where I was also, like, viewing these All-Stars videos because I wanted to see what people were doing. There was a point a couple months ago where when I looked up Starlight, most of them were not like, yes, the first few options you would see, especially after the full version of the song came out, was, like, Karen, Starlight, like, lyric videos. That's normal. But when you click on Love Live All-Stars, which will lead you to, like, of course, the music video portions, there was a time where a whole page could be filled with each version of Ruby performing Starlight, and I don't remember if this video is still up anymore, or they might have changed the title of it. I don't remember, because I can't find it. There was one point where I saw a video that was titled Ruby's Initiation into Nijigasaki, which I get that it's made up, it's a meme, it's a joke, but it's the type of meme or joke that I really don't appreciate. Like, as I stated earlier, I know age of consent is different in Japan, but because Ruby's supposed to be, I think, if she's a first year in Japan, she might be 14, 15 years old, like 15 years old, canonically, even though it's still scraping the age of consent bar, it's because she has such a baby personality and look to her, it's still gross to look at. and the fact that so many people were doing it because it all of a sudden became a funny meme. Oh, it's like, oh, look at this child, like, performing such a sexy song. It's like staring at videos of those, like, toddlers in beauty pageants, but they're wearing, like, sexy costumes that you wouldn't even let your teenager wear on Halloween. It's the same thing. And I'd never even liked Toddlers and Tiaras. Like, I refused to touch that show. Even when I was a teenager, I would not watch it to save my life. It's just, why do you think this is funny? Why do people think it's funny to watch, like, even if it's just an animated character? Like, I know people are gonna say, like, oh, you're getting mad about an anime character. Like, isn't that so petty? Kind of, yes. But at the same time, though, this happens in real life. Like, young girls are inspired by what they see on social media. Are inspired by what they see on TV. Or even in movies. Like, this is why, like, Cuties got so much hate when it released on Netflix. Because it's literally a movie about 11-year-olds doing, like, college, like, dance sexy poses for a competition. And even if the director did say, oh, this is supposed to be like a message movie about how girls are affected by what they see on social media and stuff like that, which I would agree with if the movie was good, but she did it in such a wrong way, in which now these girls who were young as 11, these actresses who now performed in the movie, they are now traumatized by being these characters who performed in such a disgusting way. Like, you're still exposing child actresses for gross people's entertainment. And that's how I feel about this whole Ruby meme situation. If it was just Ruby who had gotten affected by this, I would not be making this rant video in the first place. But it got so much worse. First, it was the release of Karen's Firebird, when all of Nijigasaki's third solo songs were released. I don't think Firebird is that bad. Like, first of all, it's Spanish flamenco inspired. As far as, like, those standards are concerned, maybe because I got exposed to that type of music or, like, so much that I don't think it's as bad as it could have been. And also Karen's costume was not as that revealing as the Starlight costume was. Like I said, it's the flamenco-inspired type of costume that Karen wears, and I like it. I like how it looks. I like how Karen does it. So when that song came out, people immediately started posting Ruby MV videos, her performing this song, and there was even, like, one thumbnail I saw where it says, oh, in like parentheses, Dia won't like this. But nowadays, I don't see as many of those anymore. I think either they got copyright blocked or most people deleted them or something. I don't know. Like, there was only one video I saw of that, but it's not as prevalent. But what became more prevalent after that was the announcement of Mia and Longju joining Nijigasaki. So when those two characters joined Nijigasaki, of course it was expected for people to post, like, what if videos of Longju and Mia performing each of the girls' solo songs. It was not a revolutionary idea. People were gonna do it anyway. But then I came across two videos on YouTube where it basically said Mia's initiation into Nijigasaki, she performed Starlight and Firebird, and then another video titled Mia's entrance requirement, and she's performing Starlight. This was where I got ticked off. Canonically, Mia is from the United States. Yes, she's basically a Hiro Hamada, and she graduated high school when she was 13. She's technically in her first year of college. So, I mean, like I said, this is basically Big Hero 6. This is Hiro Hamada all over again, but just for Love Live. But by standards, because she's from the States, And because she's 14 years old, the fact that people are making an American 14-year-old girl character dance these sexual movements as another Ruby joke, I swear to God, I lost it. Like, now, like, people are starting to do this because it's like, oh, now Mia's like the new baby face of Love Live, so we're just gonna do this because it's funny. It's just, as I mentioned with Toddlers and Tiaras before, children doing sexy things is not funny. It's gross. And the only people who enjoy it are up-and-coming pedophiles. Those are the only people who enjoy this garbage. Had it been people were just posting those videos for information's sake, because it's a part of the game, it is an option that you can pick, I would have left this whole thing alone. Had the titles of the video said, like, Corinne's Starlight, Mia Taylor version, I would have been okay with it. But they just had to put Mia's entrance exam, or Mia's initiation, into Nijigasaki, making it sound like, oh, the Nijigasaki girls are forcing their members to perform Starlight as a way to get into the club. Which, canonically, that doesn't happen. They join the club because they want to. That's the story of Nijigasaki. They join the club because they want to join the club. There is no initiation, because originally Kasumi wanted to do initiation, but the other girls are like, no, we're not doing that. That's not what this is about, which I praise them for. But even if Kasumi wanted to do an initiation for the girls, this would be the last thing that she would come up with. Like, not even Kasumi herself is that evil. So, at the end, before I go on for too long, I just hope that for the upcoming year, this meme would just stop. Because the last thing that people should be exposing other people to is these TikTok meme level of gross, of exposing young people, whether it's animated characters or live action characters, to more adult things. Because the very last thing we need in this world is for people to start teaching other people that this stuff is okay. Because if we've learned anything from the past, it's not. To be honest, I don't know if people are gonna like this video or not. I'm not asking for it because I'm just releasing my grievances out to the world. But if you do like this video, you can hit the button. And if you have any opinions about what I just said, and I'm open to any conversation, just hit me up in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to me and you want to follow me for the rest of the 12 days of anime, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified, and you'll be all set. I'm Cait, Cher, and it's been real. Ciao!